Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
So if you've got student loans in default, ignoring the debt is rarely the right answer. Federal student loans in default can lead to garnished wages, garnished tax refunds, and even garnished Social Security checks. Federal student loans don't go away when you ignore them. So today, we're talking about the Statute of Limitations on Student Loan Debt. This is the College Investor Audio Show. Welcome! Okay, so private student loans may be subject to a statute of limitations on debt collection. After several years in default, the debts become uncollectible. Collectors can no longer sue or use legal means to collect the debt. If you've got old student loans in default, you need to understand whether the statute of limitations on debt applies to you. So what is a statute of limitations on debt? The statute of limitations on debt refers to the amount of time that a creditor can sue you if you've been in default. Once the statute of limitations has been reached, the creditor has absolutely no way to engage the legal system to get you to repay the debt. Of course, you do actually still owe the debt, even after the statute of limitations has been reached. But creditors lose all their teeth, if you will, once the statute of limitations has been reached. So once the debt is time-barred, meaning the statute of limitations is passed, the creditor cannot sue you or use the legal system to garnish payment from you. Any further requests for payment are all bark and no bite. Federal student loans have no statute of limitations. Okay, so here's the kicker. Federal student loans, they don't have one. Your student loan servicer can sue you, no matter how long it's been, and garnish payments from you, by the way, if you fail to make those payments on your debt. Federal student loan debt never expires. Go figure. Borrowers who have student loans in default could be subject to having wages garnished, tax refunds withheld, and, get this one, borrowers may even have their Social Security payments garnished, which can be a huge problem for parents or grandparents who signed a Parent Plus loan. Federal student loans don't go away if you ignore them. You need to have a plan to revive your federal student loans in default so you can get rid of them once and for all. Private student loan debt has a statute of limitations. So unlike the federal, private student loans do have a statute of limitations. The time for a debt to become time-barred varies from state to state, though, so please keep that in mind. Some states have limitations as short as 3 years, no kidding, while others keep debt active for up to 15 years. If you have private student loans in default and you think they may be time-barred, consult a bankruptcy or consumer advocacy attorney in your state. A lawyer can help you figure out whether your private student loan debt is time-barred. They can also give you legal advice if you're facing a suit for what may be time-barred debt. Beware of zombie debt. Sounds like a pretty scary movie to me, but even if the debt is time-barred, creditors may still legally contact you about that debt. Whatever you do, don't agree to payments or make payment on the debt. Making a payment, or even agreeing to a payment, may bring dead debt back to life. Time-barred student loans can become zombie debt. If you make a payment on the loan, nobody wants that. Suddenly, the collector will have legal means to collect the debt again. Instead of making a payment, request a debt verification letter. This letter should include the name of the original creditor, the original amount owed, and the name of the current collector. This information can help you figure out whether the debt is as old as you think it is. If you're having trouble understanding a collection agent, consider enlisting the help of a lawyer. You can search for a lawyer using the American Bar Association's Find Legal Aid tool online or through the National Association of Consumer Advocates, which includes lawyers that specialize in consumer protection. Do you have student loans in default? Here's a plan. When you've got debts in default, you need to figure out a plan to get the loans out of default and then out of your life. These are the recommended actions to take if you've got debt in default. Answer all lawsuits against you, all being the key word there. Whether you have federal or private debt, it is critical to answer any lawsuit that comes against you. Even if you think the statute of limitations on the debt is long gone, you need to answer the suit. A judge may not realize that the debt is time-barred, and they may rule in favor of your creditor. When a judge rules in favor of the creditor, the debt becomes collectible again. You can either represent yourself in court or enlist the help of a lawyer who can advocate on your behalf. Don't engage a collector before the lawsuit, except to inform them that you believe the debt is time-barred and may be uncollectible. If creditors are bothering you about time-barred debt, here's what you do. When you have reason to believe that your debts are time-barred, inform the collector that your debt is time-barred and that you will not make payments on it. Then take the following steps. Do not make payments on it. Don't agree to pay the debt. If it is important for you to pay the debt for moral reasons, wait until you can afford to pay the debt in full. Enlist the help of a lawyer to help you craft a settlement plan so the creditor can't come after you for back interest and fees. Send creditors a cease and desist. Once you have informed the creditor that the debt is time-barred, send them a cease and desist letter via certified mail. This letter should inform them to not contact you again except to confirm receipt of the letter and to inform you of legal action against you. Consider settling private debt in default. Okay, so if your private student loans are in default, but they aren't time-barred, you may want to try a settlement option. Settlement involves an agreement between a creditor and a borrower. The borrower agrees to pay a certain amount of money, usually less than the total amount owed, if the creditor agrees to waive the right to sue for further money. Since settlements are legal agreements, it's always best to enlist the help of a bankruptcy attorney or a settlement lawyer to walk you through this process. Get federal debts out of default. All federal student loan programs offer income-driven repayment plans. If your federal student loans are in default, you might qualify for lower payments to get out of default and back on track with these debts. It takes just 9 reasonable payments. For those living in poverty, the payment may be as small as $5 a month to get the loan out of default. There's an article that outlines the steps you can take to get federal student loans out of default. And remember, federal student loans do not qualify for a statute of limitations. Just have to say that again. But there are ways to have the loans forgiven. Take steps today to get rid of these loans eventually. Get them out of your life. If you want to know more about this, find all the resources and everything you need. We know it can be stressful. We want to eliminate as much stress as possible from your life. Check out thecollegeinvestor.com. Again, it's thecollegeinvestor.com. Thanks so much for stopping by today and listening. It means so much to us. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you again soon.